Hey guys, how you doing? I'm Yalik, and we're gonna stop and take a minute to celebrate the DTs. We have, as of well, this afternoon, this evening, we kind of kicked ass on our op, and we have bounced up to 165 as our highest leaderboard position, and I fully expect that that will improve mightily after this op because this operation is looking sweet for us. So we're going to look at a couple of hits from the last op, but this is the current op that we're going on, and so far we're 2 for 2, had a really nice draw of bases, and I'm very confident about each one of these. The question marks there, it's really up for grabs who gets those bases, but it doesn't matter because whoever ends up taking whatever base, I'm feeling pretty good about where we are. We've had a bit of a tough run of ops. Yesterday was great, but as you look back there, we've had a couple of days where, and I'm going to be honest, shit happens. Excuse me for saying so, but that's just the truth. Like we were trying to do an Alamo in 2, and I started the opening hit and got a disconnect, and that really sucked, but not nearly in comparison to some of the stuff that we've had come up with our guys recently. I mean, like, outside of the game stuff, not bad Wi-Fi stuff, but real life stuff, which really and truly sucks. So we've been dealing with a little bit of that, a little bit of this, and maybe a bad draw here and there, but we're resilient. We're pushing on anyway, and it's been really cool. Actually, we've had Andy join recently. He's a friend of Sven's, and he's also British. I think they shared a British leaderboard pushing task force, like they were trying to get to number 1 on their leaderboard, and then he came here. Doesn't chat a whole lot, hoping he sticks around. It's great. Basically the same lineup as before. Occasionally we have some of this happening. Yesterday at time we have a regular starting time, and at the regular starting time we couldn't get a hold of a couple guys, so I brought an extra account. Sven brought an extra account. So, a little bit of nothing against the guys. They just, as it turned out, one of our guys he's got his own business. He was working, so I understand why he couldn't make the start time because priorities, man. But so I brought in my second account for this one, and it's a 55. I put it on that base because honestly, it was the easiest base here, and we needed a win, so I went ahead and took that. I'm going to show the last 3 because these were pretty good. So here's Andy doing ballast, and a couple of minor things that you could nitpick, but down is down, and I think he only lost 3 Zukas or something like that. I have to go back and check. He's also got this fun Doom Cannon here on the beach, so that's cool. That's always fun. Gets himself all grouped up, and we'll speed that up a little bit. And he's got himself going quite nicely, and it looks like we've got 3 shocks to the back of the base here. Good flaring, kept everybody moving so the girls don't spread, and we'll slow it down again. So he's got 3 shocks here. These rocket launchers left to be out of range. These shock launchers to be out of range. And this is always a fun shock here because these mortars, your girls tend to spread into them, and so you really have to be careful with that shock. Also, you'll notice he missed this one, but watch how quickly he corrects. When I start this up again, he corrected that pretty quickly. He got 2 of the rockets and missed the 3rd, but this is all. I hate this shock right here because you really have to be very careful so that you don't end up shocking your own Zukas along with the towers that are trying to shoot at you. There you go. There's that shock over there. He fixed that right quick. And where is the Building Hell statue? Yeah, no, this base didn't have a chance. because, you know, he got his girls there in very good fashion. I want to say, nope, yes, yeah, lost 3 Zukas, so that's always good. I had Paradox, and I will be honest with you, I've never soloed this before, and this was a kind of extra fun pair. Paradox is always a weird base anyway, because, you know, there's rockets down here normally, actually a few less than normal in this case, because normally these machine guns would all be rockets, and rockets down here, and those can be rockets. Always with the shock launchers over here, and some form of rockets over here, extra rockets up top, and with the rockets in back, that's fairly normal too. Just rockets everywhere. And I really didn't want to, like, cheap out on us. I could have gone for an easier base, but I really wanted the force points. Also, I really should have gone to YouTube and looked up some hits, but sometimes you ain't got the time for that. So I will be honest with you, I was kind of beating my head against this one for a while. Really liked, let's call that 10 o'clock-ish over here. The path to that looked pretty decent, so where's my pen? If you can path through here, you'll notice I'll show you the rocket launchers front. They don't actually range the beach, so you've got a nice free beach to work with. So path through these 2 towers here, the sniper tower and shock blaster next to each other. I'm going to clear the boom mine first, but that's basically my first shock flare point. And then flare again up to here, and that second boom mine is at whatever, 10, whatever we're calling that, is my second flare point. And from there, get everybody grouped up. And I had the idea, I wasn't sure if it would work or not. Really didn't like this rocket launcher down here, but it looked to me like I could do a shock, and a shock, and a shock, and some critters over in here to try to occupy that rocket launcher, and I wasn't sure how much GBE I was going to have, hoping for a second batch of critters, and hoping that the heavies would, they're going to assume a line something like that, and absorb all of the rocket fire from the right side. So that was sort of my prayer going into this. And so we've got the rocket launcher here. I almost considered leaving those 2 boom mines as flare points because it's hard to miss when the flare point is marked for you. So that one doesn't quite range the beach, that one doesn't quite range the beach, and really all I was going for, like I said, was this line right there. So when my girls get to the middle of that line, quick grouping flare, and we're off, and we're running. And if you're religious, then you're praying. Ended up working out fairly well. I mean, obviously, we went 5 for 5 on this op. But given the fact that my research was very poor and I didn't use calculators, I will take this. Being honest with you, I would recommend more research and calculators, but in the meantime, sometimes you get lucky, and sometimes you're good, and sometimes it's a little bit of both. And this was definitely a little bit of both. So the extra critters did have enough for the second batch of critters over there, just in case. You can see that rocket launcher would have been a problem. Everything else was fairly well accounted for, and so, yeah, again, don't necessarily recommend winging it, but I'm not going to complain, you know, when in fact it works. And then finally, so my other option was this base. Sven went right after me, and 10 minutes or so after me, and I'll be honest, Paradox was probably the easy way out, because I was looking at this, and this was no fun at all. And normally I like Armadillo. I'm actually pretty good at it. You know, I took Paradox because it's a heavy Zuka hit on an op, and you know, I can do those okay, but I was looking at this Armadillo, and man, just shocks everywhere. You gotta account for these, you gotta account for these, and these. And these, not necessarily all meaning separate shocks. If you're going all Zuka, then you might want to account for that up there. That seems like it's a problem because, you know, your kill zone is going to be right down here where these 3 mines are, so you're going to have to account for those. These mortars range that, as do these rocket launchers, as do these rocket launchers over here, which are singles, which is really extra hard because you can't pull off 8 shocks on this base. You just don't have the GBE for it. So, to be honest, I took Paradox, which sucked because it was the easy way out. But watch what Sven does here. This is actually really, really cool. Didn't have a plan for this myself. So he's going to clear his mines. Also, the beach is, I mean, it's warm. I'm not going to say it's hot, but it's, you know, it's not exactly, look at that. Yeah. Knows exactly where he's going there. A warm beach, not a hot beach, and he's going straight AZ as opposed to heavy Zuka, which I might have done in this case. I don't know what the health was on this. 370, so 6, 8, 9 something-ish K. Not the healthiest base ever, but still, I mean, so many shocks to pull off. And you got to survive long enough to take the base down. That's the issue here. So, watch this. This is beautiful. See those critters that just went flying off that direction? I do hope you caught that. Now, you can see that all of the rocket launchers up top, here and here and here, have all been misdirected over towards those critters. The timing on that was really nice. So now he's shocking the things around him. The mortars and obviously those flamethrowers are a problem, and the shock launchers are going to be next. But really nice trick. So he's gone with 3 shocks there. Oh, and he went ahead and got 4 and 5 up top. But I mean, instead of having to deal with 7 shocks, he figured out a way to do that in 2 less. And shocks get way expensive as they go. That was a cool trick. So I did my hit with probably less than a half hour to go in the operation, and he was waiting on me, probably just to make sure that, you know, if I didn't get my base down, then he could follow along and get the extra force points for Paradox, which was 184 versus 159. So, again, fingers crossed on me finishing Paradox, which I'd managed to do. That was great. So that gave him the opportunity, quote, air quotes, opportunity to take care of Armadillo, and still, kind of a mixed blessing there. But all in all, 796 force points off that op. That's a pretty good day, and I feel like that is getting us right back on track, as is this op. You know, real life nonsense, shenanigans, bullshit, whatever you want to call it aside. You know, we've got the guys, we've got the talent. We've got a couple guys in reserve, actually. We've had a couple guest hitters come in when needed, so yeah, it's good to have friends. And we're on the right track again today with a really, really nice roll. I'm not going to take credit for it, but, you know, I did that. And we're rocking and rolling. So this has been a lot of fun. One more thing I want to show you before I go. We were looking at this and having a laugh the other day. Nutty posted a screenshot on our Discord channel and didn't explain it at all, just posted a screenshot. And the screenshot was of a task force around us. Currently, we reached a high of 165. Currently, we're at 185. But let's look at Bros United just above us. And we're running typically choke, sometimes curtain. And the guys around us were running like Mambo and Sour Grapes. These guys most started Operation Foxtrot, last Operation Bottleneck. And the guys just below us here, what do we got? Most started Operation Sour Grapes, last Operation Bottleneck. So, really do have the talent and going to proceed fairly quickly. With a bit of luck and, you know, real life not thumping us on the head constantly. So, with that said, we're doing great. We're having a lot of fun. And I just wanted to pass that along and, you know, congratulations to my guys. who are excellent. And that's pretty much all I've got for you. So, you know, like, thumbs up, subscribe, do that stuff, and we'll catch you again later. Have a great night.